The Oppenheimer turned hard as his point defense cannon sent out streams of fire, the oncoming missiles bursting into little balls of fire. Targeting solution of the lead ship, Martinez called over his shoulder. Fire! Rian snarled. The telltale "foom" of the ship's single railgun fired, echoing throughout the ship, the tungsten rod streaking towards the mercenary vessel and punching through just in front of its engines. The three conial engines flickered and died as the ship began to spin, dead in space. The Oppenheimer banked back towards the mining convoy, the swarm of drones swirling around the miners. Rian could already see the sparks as they started cutting into the cargo holds. The ship buckled as sparks showered the bridge crew. A missile from the second mercenary guard vessel exploding too close for comfort as the PDCs took it out. Task Betty and Susie to cripple that ship. Divert drone group 6 to screen them, Rian said, leaning against the railing of the command platform. The captain of the Oppenheimer was slender, their hair closely cropped to their head, a collage of tattoos covering their arms and peeking out of the collar of their t-shirt up their neck, a few dozen piercings adorning their ears. They fiddled with a dangling earring as they watched Cordova and Smith work at their drone control stations, hands working quickly over the interactive holodisplays to execute the orders. Betty and Susie are on mission, Cordova said. Betty has a firing solution and... firing! Rian watched as the drone arsenal ship orbited up and over one of the bulky miners as groups of rockets streaked out of her pods, exploding short as the mercenary ship's PDCs fired frantically to take them down. Another salvo flew, and Rian grinned as the second arsenal ship closed in from beneath. The two cannons fired, slamming into the mercenary ship's center mass once, then twice, the engines flaring out and fire spitting out from the wound. Second guard vessel is down. She's got heavy damage to her plasma exchangers. I don't think... Cordova said, cutting himself off as explosions erupted from the crippled ship, then exploding in a flash of white light. Poor bastards, Rian said, shaking her head. Oil began spilling from the mining ships, streams of oil drifting out into the void as the drones swept in to collect. Rian flopped back into their command chair with a satisfied sigh, watching the operation unfold. Open a link to the miners, Rian said, a chime sounding. Don't worry, boys, we're not taking your whole haul, just a little import-export tax. Oh gee, we're so grateful, came a gruff voice from one of the mining vessels. Relax, Rian said. You've got enough cobalt there to repair and still cut out some profit. Another chime sounded out. Cap, another ship is dropping in. Coordinates 11.75 minus 446.9, 13.02, Martinez said. Cams up, who is it? The view changed as the screen switched to another camera. A frigate with a three-faced woman painted on her prow steamed slowly forward, making Rian grin. The Hecate. Incoming broadcast, another member of the crew said. Rian Howard, you fucking bitch, that was supposed to be our haul, came a woman's voice in a subtle European accent. Nice to see you too, Tiv, Rian laughed. How you doing, babe? Pissed off now, Tiv said. How'd you get here so fast? Rian shrugged innocently, despite there being no video connection before leaning back and crossing their legs. Buy me a drink and I might tell you, Rian said playfully, making several crew members roll their eyes. No, Tiv said. Pretty please? No, Rian sighed. Fine, I'll buy. We're going to offload at Tiaga Station, Rian said. Meet you there? You're buying. A day later, T was laying in bed covered in sweat. Rian standing and unbuckling the harness around their waist before heading towards the shower. The Hall of Ore had brought in several million credits from selling it to the refinery. There had been lots of drinks. T pulled the sheet over herself and lit a cigarette as she looked towards the shower, as Rian stepped in and sighed as the hot water hit them. Word is, Door's got the Undrexy, Tev said, taking a drag of their cigarette. No shit. Yeah, gave the bounty to some hauler that helped him score the kill. 65 billion. Can you imagine? Rian stuck their head under the water. Good riddance. Last time I saw that bug boat, it put the Oppenheimer in dry dock for 2 weeks. I had to replace 3/4 of my drones. Glad it was Dawes who got it though, not some Terran Navy squarebrain. T stepped into the shower behind Rian, wrapping her arms around their midsection and holding them. Her eyes wandered, making Rian shiver despite the nearly scalding water, but Eve's hand stayed away from Rian's chest. They never liked having it touched. I know you were close with Arthur and the kids. Yeah, Rian said softly. Glad that Dawes got his revenge. Any word on how he's doing now that it's done? Rian turned around, kissing Teve quickly. Last I heard, the Queen Anne was docked out near Ursa Majora. Only put in that sector with no heat. I think the last thing Dawes wants right now is to be scrapping with the UTN. Teve kissed Rian back. I'm ready for round 4, Teve whispered. Good lord, woman, you're impossible. There was a buzz from the other room. The lovers groaned before Rian stuck their head out of the shower. What? Gab, we got a broadband. The UTN has the Rancor cornered in the Kepler system. Captain Andan is calling for aid. Both soaking bodies scrambled out of the shower before the crewmen had even finished, and were busy putting on the bare minimum to run for their ships. Teve grabbing Rian by the shirt collar and kissing them hard. Next time, I'm on top, she growled into Rian's ear. You said that the last time, Rian said, booping Teve on the nose before both charged out of the rental quarters. 6 hours later, the Oppenheimer and the Hecate dropped into the Kepler system, both vessels sending out broad scans as Rian punched in the code to access the encoded channel. Oppenheimer to Rancor. Anden? Where you at, old man? Silence. Oppenheimer to Rancor. Respond. Silence. Shit. Tev? The Hecate see anything? The Hecate had originally been a United Terran Navy ECCM electronic warfare ship. Her scanners would find things long before the Oppenheimer. Yes, 6 UTN ships orbiting the third planet, gas giant. UTN is actively scanning. A cruiser, 3 frigates and 2 corvettes. Anden must be using the upper atmosphere as cover. Rian gestured and Martinez nodded, the ship turning and engines flaring. Hecate going dark, we're on Overwatch. Be careful, Rian. The cruiser is the UTN Manticore. Rian groaned. The Manticore was a bruiser, and her captain had hunted to kill more than a few pirates. On the screen, Rian watched as the corvette and frigate pulled away from the group and into intercept course with the Oppenheimer. Contact with UTN in 5 minutes, Martinez said. They're hailing us. Rian chuckled, turning on the main speakers. Sector Morg, you vac 'em, we pack 'em, Rian said playfully. Unknown vessel. This is the UTN frigate Yukon. You are travelling without an active transponder. Identify yourself, cut your engines, and prepare to be boarded, a stern male voice said. Oh, golly gee, sir, I sure am sorry. City rockhound like me just plumb forgot. Let me fix that right up for you. Rian looked down at the bridge crew with a smile. Boys, show 'em who we are. Golly gee, Cap, Cordova asked with a snort. Shut up and light the colours. Activate the transponder and deploy the drones. How many, Cap? Asked Smith. All of them. Aboard the Yukon, the captain watched as running lights activated on the ship's hull and highlighted the Oppenheimer and a quotation, "Now I am become death," beneath it. Several tactical officers barked an alarm as the ship's transponder came online and confirmed it. The pirate vessel was far from the sleek beauty of the Hecate or the Queen Anne Reborn, nor was she the intimidating brute like the Rancor or the Void King. The Oppenheimer looked like a peaceful frigate held together by duct tape, unicorn farce, and slightly chewed gum. Hull panels mismatched, sections seeming like they were welded on by throwing a dart at the hull and seeing where it landed, but notably, there were 10 massive, ugly containers maglocked to a hull. Beneath all the grime and corrosion, the beating heart of a demon stirred. The containers opened, and the drones spilled out in the cloud as the 2 larger drone arsenal ships, nicknamed Betty and Susie, descended from the containers hanging from the belly of the ship. Firing solution acquired, Cap. Fire and engage! The muffled thwoom of the railgun echoed through the ship as it fired, the tungsten lance travelling down the barrel that ran nearly the entire length of the ship's spine. The corvette, alongside the Yukon, didn't even have a chance to open its gun ports, the projectiles slicing through it from prow to stern. The lights went out. The UTN Yukon's cannons fired, missiles streaking from pods. The Oppenheimer's PDCs began spinning up as the drones advanced, putting themselves between the pair. Cannon shells slamming into the cloud, as several lashed onto missiles and used cutting lasers to destroy them. The few that got past met their end at the Oppenheimer's defensive cannons. Any time now, Tev, Rian said into the comms, as the UTN Yukon's PDCs began to dig into the swarm, and then went silent, the guns falling limp as the lights and engines flickered, causing the frigate to list and spin. The Hecate entered visual range behind the listing Navy frigate just before her heat signature flared. The pirate electronic warfare ship had no primary guns. That's not how she hunted. She snuck up on her prey, frying and confusing their electrical and targeting systems, hacking in and shutting the ship down without ever firing a shot. She wasn't helpless, though. Numerous point-defense cannons covered her hull to ward off numerous missiles, torpedoes, and drone attackers. As she glided past the UTN Yukon, those cannons raked her hull with fire, spraying up and down her length and breadth, just before the drones lashed on and began tearing the naval frigate apart. I figured you had it handled, Dave replied. Didn't want to steal your thunder. Cap, the other 2 frigates of broken formation are heading towards us, torpedoes in the void. Evasive maneuvers. Cordova, recall the drones. Smith, Task, Betty, and... The Oppenheimer buckled, tossing Rian from their seat. They tasted blood. We're hit. Drone Bay 4 is gone. Susie is dead in deadspin. Betty and drone's moving to screen. The Hecate lurched as the torpedo slammed into an engine, causing it to erupt in blue-green flames. Teeve! We're fine. Engine 3 is gone. Rian, we can't scramble the torpedoes. They're dumbfired. It seems you got their attention, came an older-sounding male voice over the secure channel. And in about time. Where the fresh hell are you? Rian said. 2 bursts of fire erupted from the tumultuous gas of the third planet. Then another 2. Then another. 12 volcano-like plumes of burning gas sending shells slamming into the belly of the cruiser as the Rancor rose up from the clouds, whisked straight off her hull, as all 12 of her port-side cannons fired again, maneuvering thrusters keeping her turned on her side, and rising as she dug into the underbelly of the larger and heavier cruiser. The cruiser's point defences began to rate the climbing pirate vessel as it began to roll and bring its larger guns to bear. The Rancor was turning as well, moving to aim her heavily armoured prow at the rotating Navy ship. I've got the cruiser! Are you two still in the fight? Or did 2 little torpedoes take you 2 out? Both ships' point defense arrays began streaking the void with tracer fire, torpedoes exploding as they were hit, or as drones suicided into them. Eat me, Jeffrey, Teeve said. And here I thought that was Rian's job, Andon laughed. The Rancor's engines flared, driving the ship upwards at an angle. Her armoured prow slammed home just before the UTN Manticore's secondary guns could get the pirate into their firing arcs. The pirate ship pushed, rending hull from frame and sending pieces and crew out into the void as it pushed the crippled naval vessel parallel with her starboard battery. All 12 heavy cannons fired, the shells digging deep as blue fire exploded out of the wounds and blowing out panels all over the ship, flames licking the armoured prow of the Rancor. The 2 naval frigates began to peel away, making a run for it. Oh no you don't! Martinez, lock onto the starboard frigate! Fire! Rian roared. Vroom! Again! Vroom! Shift targeting to port frigate. Low frechette shell. Fire! Vroom! The first spear only glanced the first frigate, tearing a gash across its starboard side. The second buried itself between the frigate's engines, the metal glowing white hot from the engine fire just before ramming through the hull, showering the inside of the ship with molten tungsten, and then tearing out the opposite flank. The projectile was still moving, and it slammed into the prow of the sister ship. The charge inside the flechette round exploded, dozens of tungsten blades spreading apart and digging deep into its port side. Both ships listed, went dark, then exploded. Fuck yeah, God I'm good, Rian roared. The corvette is nearly out of gun range. She's too far for us to shut down, Teeve said over the comms. Fresh contacts dropping in, 1 frigate and a cruiser. Oh, fuck me, Rian groaned, then watched as the corvette slammed into the side of the cruiser in a little flash of light. Oh, fuck me, they reprised in shock. Rian looked down at the tactical display as the 2 new contacts, both flying without transponders. The captain of the Oppenheimer breathed a sigh of relief and sank back into the command chair, wiping the blood from their head wound. Nice of you boys to join us, Rian said into the comms. Holland, Soames, you're late to the party as usual. The 2 contacts lit up as transponders came online. The Void King, the Queen Anne Reborn. Nice to see you too, Rian. Teeve, came the voice of Dawes Holland, captain of the Queen Anne Reborn. What, no niceties for me? Jeffrey Andon said. Without a word, the Void King's turret-mounted railguns turned and fired. The rounds flew dangerously close but past the Rancor. Remy, what the hell are you doing? Teeve yelled. Captain Andon, power down and prepare to be boarded, Remy Soames, captain of the Void King, ordered. The 5 ships hung in the void, and suddenly, the victorious reunion of the 5 most notorious human pirates had turned into another standoff amongst the burning hulks of United Terra Navy ships.